First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wake up. Wake up.
Shout out to Sherman Wells.
It's Big Sherman, fool.
Wake up, 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 wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
It's the right time to wake up. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
This dream, life is not what it seems. This culture's not your reality. You better unplug or be a casualty. Cause the life that we lose in the drug and improving is keeping us off from our greatness. We gotta spread the love and stop hating. Then rearrange these front pages. From murder and death to building our wealth. We moving in stealth. Milking the game till there's nothing left. And teaching my people to love themselves. I'm crashing on competition. That's an interference with the commission, man. We tired of
I ain't peeped the Milk the Game shout out.
Unification amongst us. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
You got a Milk the Game shout out in that. I don't know if you know about Milk the Game. It's a local clothing line. Yeah. I ain't peeped that bar.
Right on. Shout out to Sherman Wells giving us that wake up song. It is Monday, November the 4th. Right now, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
See some people getting up early with us. Appreciate that for the hellos and how you doing this morning.
Hello.
Like Dynamite gives us a good morning, y'all. Mama God said good morning, fam. Yep. R.I.P. Mr. Quincy Jones.
Man, what?
Yeah, man.
I didn't hear about that. What?
Yep. It's interesting when we got stuff like the election coming up. Other stuff be going on in the world.
Man.
For real.
Stuff be stuffing.
Got Celeste Butler in the house. Good morning to you. Said one love, fam.
One
Appreciate
love.
you very
One love.
much. Rochelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone. Yep, top of the morning to you. Yes, unfortunately, just over the past couple of days here, legend Quincy Jones passed away.
Man,
end of an era, man. We'll definitely be we'll have to dig in a little bit.
Yeah,
it's
a
been
little
a big
bit.
part of everybody's life for a long time. 91.
Man,
91.
Condolences to Rashida and the fam.
Big time, man. Big time. Yeah, man. 91. Pops gives us a good morning. Good Monday morning, First Sky crew and fam. Appreciate that. Definitely feeling like a Monday this morning a little bit. And I don't know about y'all, but it's been a weekend of some serious grinding with this election coming up tomorrow. So I'm very, very, very happy when it's over. Very happy when it's over.
Clock is ticking.
Ticking. For those of you just joining us, you know that we start 7 o'clock hard start on the news, but we come in a little bit early so we can get the hellos and how you doings out to the fam, First Sky fam. So appreciate everybody that's gotten up early this morning with us to just say hi. It's always a pleasure. Leah Keister in the chat saying happy marvelous Monday. Right on. How's your efforts going? I saw you out canvassing. So yeah, everybody's kind of on their feet this weekend for real out here. Like Dynamite said, somebody needs to bubble wrap Stevie right now, man.
Man.
Really.
Just in the last couple months, there's been a lot of legends just lost a lot this year.
Yeah, big time, man. I don't know if you saw. I think it was Robert Glasper was speaking on Stevie, saying that he thinks that Stevie is the single most, the best talent ever, single most relevant talent. Started several different sounds and movements, and has stood the test of time. And yeah, man, is for him is Robert Glasper's greatest artist ever, Stevie Wonder.
Okay. I'm sure he's gotten the lifetime achievement accolades and things like that, but I'm sure you still like to smell his flowers while he still can.
Yeah, it's funny. I posted a video of him on my Instagram of Stevie kind of freestyling one of his songs with a DJ playing a beat underneath.
I saw that. That was you that posted that. Okay,
yeah, super dope. Sean McCarthy in the chat. Good morning. Says I hope everyone stays sane this week, as sane as anyone can be covering this election.
Man,
I gotta tell you, bro, I've already been losing it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If we didn't know we was a media company before, we know now, because the work has been ridiculous, bro, in a big way. Marlon Harrison in the chat saying, "Good morning, First Sky fam. Let's wake up.
Hey,
Omaha, and get out and each the day, teach the day, move the day, whatever you want to say on that."
Yeah. Not quite sure where you're going with that one, but thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we got the gist. We got the feeling.
yeah.
Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Agakid says Quincy's 20 girlfriends must be devastated. Oh, okay. Don't come in here. Don't start talking about that. Too soon, Agakid. Too soon. Too soon. For those of you just joining us, we lost another legend, man. Quincy Jones passed away this over the weekend.
Man, look at that young Quincy.
Hey, man, he been doing this. Like he started playing this horn at 16, 17, hitting that scene, bro. He been playing with everybody that you can think of.
Man,
Everybody you can name from all the way back in the 40s jazz days, bro. And then, of course, in my lifetime, it was him and Michael winning all the Grammys.
yeah.
Behind Thriller, Off the Wall, all the legendary stuff, man.
I mean, while we on it, Ron Isley, y'all forgot about Ron? Y'all forgot about Ron? He been doing this since the doo-wop.
He been around. So has George Clinton. He had a doo-wop group first. Still out here doing it. So
yeah, man.
yeah, bro. Black Dynamite in the chat says there's a new guy coming here that I can't remember his name, but he's a blind piano prodigy. He kind of looks like Anderson .Paak to me. I think I did see something.
Is that OPA? They the ones bringing him?
I'm not sure about that. I saw something.
Yeah.
Pop says I agree with Robert. Okay,
Okay.
Stevie Wonder's the greatest talent ever. That's what's up.
Oh, Stevie.
Ron here said I meant to say I enjoyed the day.
Okay.
The day. That's what's up. That's what's up. Appreciate you guys coming on today. We got special guest Jaquala Yarbro is coming back. We're gonna try to work out some of the tech issues with her from for her trying to get on the last time she couldn't make it, if you remember. So she's gonna try to make it today. And of course, this is a Monday, so we'll be talking to the senators. I anticipate we'll talk to Senator McKinney in particular, possibly Senator Wayne if he's not working today. So we'll be talking to the senators, and that one last push. It is November 4th, day before the election, the last day to vote early. So
election eve.
Yeah, man. Everybody's saying get down there. There's been lines and lines and lines. It's gonna be raining today too. So take your umbrella, stand in line, try to get it done, or else you're gonna have to go to your polling place tomorrow to get it done. So yeah, it is what it is right now, man.
Man,
so
the clock is ticking. Have you voted? Are you going to vote?
Yeah, tomorrow, the day of is kind of what I'm getting from most people. So
yeah, which is kind of interesting because the like you mentioned, the lines have been crazy and the numbers have been breaking records. So I will actually be talking about that here in a bit. So yeah.
One thing I want to jump on to before we get the show started is we've been talking about what Queen Mika has been doing. Shamika Simpson has been pushing. She sent out a text early this morning. She's still hiring, so we're still looking for canvassers. There's money involved. If you're already going to be canvassing today, you might as well link up with her and get paid. And that's today and tomorrow. She says we're hiring for canvassers and sign holders to be a part of the Homeland Heroes team for $300 a day. Bring 2 people with you, so you and your squad can get paid here. Meet at 13750 Millard Avenue, Suite 100 in Omaha. Arrive at 9:30. Bring your IDs, Social Security, and direct deposit information to expedite the hiring process. Dress for the weather and download the minivan and GroupMe apps before arrival. I don't even know what those are. The hours are 10 a.m. to 7 a.m. Monday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday. You must work both days to receive payment. Text her at 402-301-3944 for details. So man, we've been posting that, for the last few days here that they had the last push for the last 3 days, and they were paying out as well. We try to blast that out to everybody, and then also she's giving us some updates today on what's going to happen. So yeah, today and tomorrow there's still opportunity to make some loot and do some good. So I want to put that out there before and after the 7 o'clock hour for sure.
Man.
So, yep. Oh man, lots of people in the chat. I missed a bunch.
Yeah. Chat's going off.
Anthony Rogers right in the chat says the best album he produced is not any of MJ's album. Folk have to check out Shaka Khan's Naughty. That's the one. The bass line alone will make you believe in God.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I heard that. Naughty's, and many, many more, bro. Like you have no idea how much stuff Quincy Jones was behind for sure.
Man.
Celeste Butler in the chat says, I'm grateful for those 2 faithful brothers holding down real, true, and reliable media coverage. You talking about us?
Yeah, I think she said these.
Oh, these. Oh, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sister. Hey, appreciate that. Receive that.
I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, appreciate that.
But what you will expect is that we're starting at 7 o'clock. It is time for a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Happening now.
Let's go.
Do up. Get ready to chime in. Going down.
Do
Fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Happening right now. My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God.
Hey.
And we're speaking to all of you, the chat chimers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits that would never, never, never admit that they watched the show. Appreciate you guys too.
We see you.
Yeah, we see you. Spread the word. Do us a favor today. Share the show. Share the show on your page, especially if you're on Facebook. It's pretty easy to just kind of share on your page. Make sure we get as many voices in as possible and have a deeper conversation about everything that's going on. Of course, it's the day before the election. It's probably going to dominate the day.
Yeah.
Dominate the week, because even though the election is tomorrow, we won't be getting results, for everything until I would say Saturday probably is when we can expect for everything to start to finish rolling in, but you never know.
Yeah.
So that's happening. And once again, before we get going, I just want to remind everybody that there is an opportunity for you to make some money today. We're working with Shamika Simpson, who is hiring for canvassers, sign holders to be a part of the Homeland Heroes team for $300 a day. Bring 2 people with you. There, she's got a place that you can meet at in Millard, 13750 Millard Avenue, Suite 100. Right there at 9:30. Bring your ID, Social Security, and direct deposit information to expedite the hiring process. Dress for the weather. Download the minivan and group me apps before arrival. And the hours will be 10 to 7 Monday and 7 to 7 Tuesday. Must work both days to receive payment. Again, that's $300 a day. As you can see, everybody's trying to get that last push in for canvassers. More information, you can text her at 402-301-3944. I'm tired, losing my mind, and going nuts over all the work that is being done before this election, but it's a fraction of what Shamika Simpson is doing.
Man dash.
I ain't never seen nobody move so fast and so hard and so tirelessly up close and personal like this. So shout out to Queen Mika for putting in the work. Today is the last day to vote early down at the election commissioner's office, and as of tomorrow, which is the actual November 5th vote day, you have to go to your own poll at that point and vote there. So got to throw that in there before we get started, but we appreciate everybody getting up early with us this morning on this Monday. No matter how you're feeling, no matter what kind of weekend you had, but let us know what kind of weekend you had. If you had one like mine that's been on the grind, I see a lot of chat chimers out canvassing and supporting their favorite politicians running. And appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who's putting in work and all that good stuff. In the meantime, between time, how you feeling over there, buddy?
Man, I'm doing all right. Feeling good. Thank you for that that information. Again, Civic Side Hustle. Make sure you hop on that. It's a good opportunity to kind of stretch the legs, get some exercise in, get your steps in, get some coin, and get involved civically at the same time. So getting a lot of things done. A big shout out to Queen Mika for making that happen. How are you doing, Paul? Before we get into the community shout outs, man, I didn't really ask you, man. You been head down working.
Yeah, like I said, I've been up probably 2-3 days now, man, on the grind, and not happy about it. Just not happy about it. But it's the job, it's work, and I keep on looking. At least I got a date where I can look to and be like, after that,
it's over.
Done with the ads, bro. Not just done making the ads, doing the ads, but also seeing the ads.
Man.
After tomorrow to be done, then we'll just be glued to the news and while we figure out what else is going on. So I'm trying to hang in there until tomorrow, bro. That's I got another day and night today to go for it. So it is what it is, but that's what it is. It's dominating the news right now. And that's just what's going on. And for us, it's hyper local. It's not just the national race with the presidents, but it's also all the local races. We got 2 candidates coming on today. If you're just joining us, I will have special guest Jaquala Yarbro coming on today, and also I expect that the Senator McKinney will come back on too. He's running as well.
Make that last push.
Let get that last push. Yep. So we're just gonna be here and doing that until that, and we'll see how Wednesday. I'm looking forward to the show on Wednesday to just be like, maybe let's bring Mr. K back or something so we can get off of all the mess.
Man, I'm actually still floating off that Mr. K interview. So if you haven't gone to see that, definitely go back and check that out. I'm glad you mentioned that. Shout out to Mr. K. But even he found it important enough to mention, the election. So everybody's definitely got election on the brain, especially, now we're 24 hours away from the day, if you will. But yeah, appreciate that. I'm definitely, anticipating and looking forward to the election. Still getting text messages about. I don't know. I think Kamala might be living down here, man. I mean, she's done thrown so many events down here in Atlanta. It's kind of ridiculous, but you see, the push for specifically the black vote. Let's just call it
Mhm.
what it is. Let's just call it what it is. So very, very interesting. But yeah. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know, 24 hours away from it. What's going on? Are you neck deep in it, or are you trying to stay away from it? Did you vote already? Let us know what's going on in your world. In the
Yeah,
between time, let's go ahead and dive into a little community news, if that's all right.
absolutely.
Actually, I would like to start off. We always like to end the show giving honor to our Native brothers and sisters out there in the indigenous community. But I like to start off the show with some acknowledgement to our Native brothers and sisters. November is supposed to be a National Native American Day, or a month actually. So again, yeah, shout out to all of our brothers and sisters out there. Out there on the res, or just celebrating the culture, trying to keep it alive. I think somebody mentioned one tribe in particular might be losing one of the last native speakers. I mean, there's a lot to it in a tongue. There's a lot in a language. So definitely big shout out to those trying to keep it alive. Keep it alive.
Big time, big time. And special shout out to Ho Chunk, who is out here really kind of showing people how to step your tribe into the 21st century, man. I talked
Man,
a lot of people about what they're trying to do too, and trying to follow that model, incorporate, find some power in the situation that you're in. So shout out to what Ho Chunk is doing for real.
man, just got the making some moves on the casino on the business side, doing some investment. Yeah. Whole chunk stepping into the 24th century, 21st century for real, for real. Yeah.
24th even. You're right.
Hey, in the future. So big shout out to the whole chunk, and also shout out to the Maha tribe who did give us permission to speak on this land. So yeah, definitely thinking in minds with our brothers and sisters here in this Native American Heritage Month.
Right on.
Right on, right on. Also, in other news, big shout out again to Sister Mika. I meant to ask, are they still doing the ride to the polls? Is that over? Is that still rolling?
Nope. It's still rolling. This is the last day you can ride early, and we've been putting out some information on that on our page that we're going to get out even further today in the different counties that this is happening at. So shout out to everybody who helped us put these things together in order for us to keep on pushing this and get those people to these places. It's not just a ride to the poll, but it's voter information. There'll be
Yep.
refreshments, all kinds of things that can happen here. This particular one right here in Douglas County is happening at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. This being Tuesday, the doors open at 9:15 is going to be some voter education, and then 10 o'clock the bus leaves, and it's going to take you to the election office in order for you to vote early. That's going to go all the way to 4 o'clock today, and then of course tomorrow they're going to be there's going to be one last day for that as well. If you need a ride, you got today and tomorrow. You can get a ride, and for those of you that are in different counties listening, Sarpy County, they have this same thing going on at Two
Yeah.
Dads in a bookstore and a couple other places. So yeah, definitely check that out. Check out our page, our main page, First Guy Omaha, where we put a few videos up. That's kind of promoting that situation. And then you can always check out if you know Mika, especially if you know Queen Mika personally, hit her up and let her
Yeah.
know that you're interested in helping with that. We're still looking for canvassers for those situations too, and it's all happening now, which is a real trip. I just want to say for a second, it's a real trip for these things to be happening, and it's not like, okay, yeah, I'll put that in, yeah, I'll go check that out a little later on the day, and then maybe tomorrow. No,
Yeah. Right
this
now.
is this is right now. This is like this is like hit that number now and get down to the spot today at 9 o'clock and start canvassing at 10 and get paid by tomorrow night type of stuff happening. So
Man.
once again, Queen Mika just sent us an update on that while we're talking about it. She's still hiring for canvassers, still looking for canvassers, still has money for canvassers. $300 a day for 2 days. You get paid tomorrow night for both days. You can meet right now. You can bring two people with you as well, so everybody get
Man.
paid. Meet at 13750 Millard Avenue, Suite 100. Again, like we say, arrive at 9:30. So as soon as you get done with the show today at 9, rush down and get ready. Bring your ID, Social Security, and direct deposit information to expedite the hiring process. Dress for the weather. It's going to be a little bit rainy today,
Mm.
and then download the minivan and group me apps. And the hours will be 10 to 7 today. And knowing her, there's going to be, she'll probably have some breaks and food provided, and also 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. So this is for people who already have who need to jump in here and help out a little bit. And like I said, if you know Shamika Simpson personally, definitely hit her up. She's looking for the help. And you must work both days to receive payment. So this is happening right now. This is not nothing that you can wait a couple days on. It's happening today and tomorrow only, and that's why I want to keep on pushing that and maybe try to get some diligent folks down here to help. Like Buddy is calling it the civic side hustle. I like that.
Man, yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is, and opportunity to get on it and get active, especially in these last few hours. So yeah, big shout out to Queen Mika and everybody who's involved. Also, big shout out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, Black Votes Matter for the helping out with the rise to the poll situation. Because yeah, we need to mobilize as many people as we can, and that's really going to kind of dominate the day again as we prepare and try to push people to the polls, try to get people to vote and just get people to get excited about it because yeah, this is one of the few opportunities that we have to have our voices heard. As we see, those are fewer and far between, man. More and more situations closing out where civilians, if you will, not really getting an opportunity to speak up, and when there are opportunities to speak up, not really respected. So yeah,
Yep, yep.
exercise it.
Word up.
But moving along, also do want to give a shout out to the village. The Deuce is going down first Fridays. Of course, it is the beginning of the month. A couple of first Fridays actually. So after you vote, maybe get out and live a live with one another this weekend. Yeah, unwind a little bit. Again, shout out to Empowerment Network. Everybody getting busy down on the Deuce. Actually, I mentioned it a couple of times, man. The Deuce has been very, very active. A lot of events. Of course, there's always that question of why can't we see the Deuce more active, similar to what we see during the Omaha days. And again, I'm seeing a lot more activity, a lot more events popping up down on the Deuce. So big shout out to everybody who's involved with that. Again, this Friday from 5:30 to 9 is first Fridays in the village at 24th and Lake. Apparently, there's going to be some networking, vendors, food, also celebrations at the Revive Center, Omaha, some special recognitions, and actually a roundtable looking at civic engagement and voting as well. Apparently, there'll be some music and entertainment going down as well. So yeah. Big shout out to the Empowerment Network, Revive, Noma, everybody, all the businesses down on the Deuce, man. Make sure we support. And yeah, keep the Deuce alive, man. Thank you for that. As you see.
Yep.
And also, if you're in the Benson area, Benson, and we consider that North Omaha as well. Shout out to our friends, our buddies at BFF, Benson First Fridays, having their first Friday as well. Always supporting the artists. So yeah. Again, get out there, check out the galleries, do the bar crawl, get you some grub. I know Paul, you be down there getting you some burgers.
Yeah, we got a pretty good plethora of food going on down here these days with this area. So this is kind of
Yeah.
my hood, man. They call me Black Erastus around here.
Yeah, man. So again, after we vote, definitely get out there and live a life with one another a little bit, stretch the legs, if you will, as well. Now, also, I do want to give a shout out to Sanita Budai. She posted this on Friends of. Just want to give acknowledgement to it if anybody can assist. This is Brighten Our Future Early Learning Center. Again, big shout out to all the child care providers out there. Spoke to Mr. K last week. Also, Miss Erica Felt, Miss Gwen Easter, and of course, Miss Anita Budai, who's asking for your help. Again, Brighten Our Future Early Learning Center apparently has a family resource table, which allows families to get much needed resources, especially in this era of inflation. Of course, food, non-perishables, breakfast bars, cereals, syrups, things like that. So again, if you would like to donate, there's a post in Friends of, or you can reach out to Brighten Our Future Early Learning Center if you have any items, or if you just want to donate some funds. Definitely check them out on Facebook. Again, that's Brighten Our Future Early Learning Center, and your donation is tax deductible, apparently. So yeah,
Right on.
right on. Let's see. Actually, kind of running short on time, so I do want to give a shout out really quickly to those who have already tapped into the weekly wrap newsletter. Again, that's coming out every Friday. Not quite sure how this weekly wrap will shape up, especially on the heels of the election. So definitely looking forward to that. But again, big shout out to everybody who's already tapped in with that. The weekly wrap. Check it out if you haven't already. There's the link. Thank you for that, Paul, in the chat. please go ahead and sign up. That is the best way to kind of keep in touch with everything we're talking about here on the show, things that we have going on with First Sky internally in between shows, and some new things that we have rolling out, man. So again, tap in with that if you haven't already. Also, check out the new website, firstsky.omaha.com. Again, that's firstsky.omaha.com. In the meantime, between time, Paul B. Yeah, what's up? What's
Yeah,
up? Go ahead.
yeah. Just want to for those of you that have tapped into the weekly wrap, we usually drop those on Friday, and we apologize for missing last Friday. We kind of got the best of us on that, so it dropped on Saturday. If you haven't checked your email, definitely go check that out. But we will be dropping on Fridays from here on out. So just wanted to apologize to people who are already tapped in on the weekly wrap right there. So yep. And shout out to everybody who has tapped in. We definitely got some new folks that have tapped in as well on the weekly wrap. So yeah, we see those numbers growing all the time. It's the best place to have the conversation when we're not live. We can really kind of keep in touch with each other. And you don't just read a newsletter, you can also respond to it as well. So let's have the conversation
Man.
continue with the weekly wrap for sure.
Man, yeah. So big
Yep.
shout out to all of you for that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the headlines for the day. We do have a jam-packed day, as Paul mentioned earlier. We got a few guests, and we're expecting to roll through. So, barring any technical difficulties, because Mondays tech be teching. But here we are again. And appreciate your support, appreciate your patience. As we mentioned, we are expecting Jaquala Yarbro, again, who's running for Douglas County Commission, and also the senators are on their Monday roundup. Again, Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their name. Expected to drop through today as well. So looking forward to that. But yeah, as we mentioned, man, a lot of things going on in regards to the election, which is on the mind, man. Several hour waits at election polling places. So definitely want to dive into that for those of you who are planning to go today to kind of get your early voting in, or really if you're planning on, going on the day of, which a lot of you said you are. Yeah, expect some lines. You might want to take you some lawn chairs. Yeah, it's pretty historic out there. So we'll dive into that. And then also, again, we've been speaking to a lot of the candidates and letting them speak their piece. But again, want to continue our coverage on some of the ballot issues that a lot of you will be voting on directly in the ballot. And, again, want you to be as aware as possible. A lot of updates, a lot of movement since we even last been on in regards to the school choice situation. Actually, scholarships have already been awarded under the new law. And then also a judge has finally ruled on the medical cannabis situation, which again, many senators have actually acknowledged as something that they believe the state should be doing. But here we are with some challenges from the state, from the Secretary of State and the Supreme Court. So we'll dive into that case here in a bit. Also, there was some controversy. I'm not sure, Paul, how much you want to talk about it as far as the Dominique Morgan situation, but I'm seeing it all over social media. I'm seeing the fam all talking about it. Everybody has a lot of things to chime up about. And again, we don't like to lean too heavy in the salaciousness, but again, when there's things in the community that are on the pulse, we try to keep our finger on the pulse. So again, if you have anything on your hearts and minds that you would like to say about that, or anything we're not talking about, as always, feel free to drop that into the chat. If you're new to the new format, again, try to focus here on the first hour more on the stories, and then open things up for conversation in the second hour. So again, if there's anything on your hearts and minds that we might be missing, feel free to let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What's the word?
Man, I appreciate everybody that's getting up early for us this morning and diving into the chat. I saw Anthony Rogers Wright has got some good advice right now. He says deep breaths and drink lots of water, y'all, or something stronger. We're not gonna know who won the presidency tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, it's probably going to be a week or even a couple weeks down the way. Wanda Lewis in the chat is saying it might take a couple of weeks to count all the mail-in votes.
Man, which is a lot.
Which is a lot. So I appreciate everybody who is understanding that fact too. A lot of people who are new to this think that the election is going to happen and we're going to get some results by tomorrow night. Now it's going to be all week long that this is going on. So all the canvassing and all all that stuff will be done, all the commercials and all those things, but we'll jump right into news coverage on everything that's going on as far as the race is concerned. Kimber Snipes in the chat, good morning, says knee deep in it. It's a school board, so not as much hype or attention as compared to state senate, etc. I'm voting tomorrow, the day of, and then going to Lacey's to watch the results come in. That's what's up.
Okay.
Lacey Lamar and the results party. But yeah, just want to remind people that Kimber Snipes is running for school board, and so yes, that is another one of the local races that we've been really kind of making sure that we talk to people about as well. So shout out to you for doing the work, Miss Snipes. Of course, also Sean McCarthy is reminding us Quincy Jones' earlier career just for jazz is insane. He already had a huge career before his work in R&B. Yeah, like I said, the brother from 17 was in Harlem, hanging with the greats, playing with the greats, Miles Davis, everybody you can think of, all the way up to our generation when he was in the 80s and in the Thriller era, jumped into pop music hard. TV scores. I mean, it's literally, it would literally take 2 or 3 shows in order to talk about all the work that brother's done. So rest in peace, brother Quincy Jones, for real, for real. Trust me, if you don't know anything that he's done personally, you know what he's done personally, because it's everything. The Wiz soundtrack to everything every part of your life has been touched.
Yeah, I mean,
For real.
now with so much sample music, I mean, there's no way you haven't heard anything that Quincy has at least touched or has his DNA in. So
Sanford
yeah,
and Son
yeah,
theme. I mean, we can go on and on, bro.
man,
Yeah.
legend.
So with that, in the meantime, between time you're just joining us, we're anticipating special guest Jaquala Yarbro is coming through, and also hopefully the senators will be coming through. I definitely think that Senator Terrell McKinney will. We'll see if Senator Wayne can. If he's not working, then he might come through today, and we'll have a jam packed day of guests and some conversation about what's happening here. This is the last day to vote early. You got to get down to the election commission to do that. Shout out to the work that Miss Shamika Simpson is doing with the information dissemination and also rides to the polls. She's been doing some heavy organizing here this past week in a few different counties. This is one for Douglas County. Meet at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation today as well. And also, while she's doing all the information dissemination and arranging all the rides to the polls for early voting as well, she's also hiring canvassers and still making it happen to this day. Got up, I think I got this text maybe about 5 in the morning. She was already up saying, "Hey, get the word out, get this message out. Arrive at 9:30 in Millard, and start canvassing from 10 to 7 today and 7 to 7 tomorrow for $300 per day." You can give her a call at 402-301-3944. Like Buddy said, the civic side hustle, quick way to do some good and make some coin in the next couple days. And this is happening now. This is while you're watching the
Right
show,
now,
you should be getting your stuff together right right now.
right
Right now.
now.
This is the last day to go early. Tomorrow is vote day. Tomorrow you'll have to go to your assigned poll place in order to vote. But today you can go to the election commission and vote early. Still one more day. They've been saying there's lines. As a matter of fact, you want to jump into that story about the lines around the building
Yeah,
right now that's happening? Yeah, man.
man,
Big
just
time.
perfect timing. Because yeah, man, although a lot of people are mentioning that they are planning on going to the polls tomorrow, the day of, so expect long lines tomorrow. But that has already been the case. Again, record as you see, folks standing out there, record number of people going to vote early, and the lines of getting actually crazy. So again, if you are planning on voting early, you are planning on going in, make sure you allot enough time. Like, this isn't something that you unfortunately can just do on your lunch break. Again, as KMTV is reporting, neighbors in Douglas County have waited 3 hours to vote early. Again, as we near the final stretch of election day, just a few hours away now. Again, it has been an experience that many voters say was worth it. However, the lines have been wrapped around buildings and into nearby neighborhoods Saturday morning all across Douglas County Election Commission's office. Baker stood, and Baker's one of the individuals interviewed in this story. She stood in line for 3.5 hours, but says it was worth it because leaving with more than just a sticker. Says we met some really cool people that made the time go by a lot faster. They handed out pizza and some snacks and stuff. So I mean, you can't beat free 99. And just kind of a side note, also as a DJ, want to give a shout out to all of my DJs out there hooking it up with the DJs at the polls. Again, this is something that I've never really heard about, but apparently I think they're doing the second year as far as sending DJs out to the polls to keep people energetic, to keep people, keep people positive, keep the ethers up and high, if you will. But again, with 3 hours reported to vote, I can see why. I can see why. I'm kind of curious to see, people giving out food. From what I hear, that there some issues with that in the past, giving out food in election lines and things like that.
Yeah, it's
But
illegal to even
yeah,
get out
yeah, here we
water.
are.
And we talked about that. It was illegal to even give waters out. So I'm wondering if this is a situation kind of like the get out the polls, the get out the ride to the polls thing that's going on. This is at a different location. There's going to be some snacks here too, and some
Mhm.
information on voting and rides. And then you get a ride over to the polls where I don't think a lot of that kind of stuff is going on. So I think this is probably off site, but still 3 hours to get in there. Apparently, you can bring your teddy bear with you, whatever she holding it, whatever's going on, and then and get ready. And today, bring your umbrella and your raincoat because it's going down today too. If you're planning on standing out there, go early and get it done. Um,
Yeah,
I'm thinking that tomorrow, when people go to their actual polling place to go, I don't think the lines will be as long because it's so spread out all around town. But this is if you're voting early and going to the only place you can, which is the election commission, and you're going to deal with some lines. So
man.
keep
And
that in mind.
to that point, and this is something we don't really do too much, or it's a word that we try to stay, away from or be careful around. But I do want to speculate a little bit as to, why why the numbers are the way they are. Because we talk about, get out the vote efforts. We talk about the numbers, especially in North Omaha, how they're not always up to par, very very low. But it seems like the tick is up on just the amount of people, especially early voting. Per the Omaha World Herald, Brian Cruz, who's of course Douglas County's election commissioner, says that it's actually been pretty crazy. He says, "I've never seen anything like it." According to this article, through Thursday night, so this just past Thursday, about 17,500 people have voted in person already at the election commission, which is up about 3,000 people in total from last year. So even with an extra day or extra few days of early voting still left, again, just through Thursday, the numbers have already been up 3,000. So is it more people voting, more people voting early? I don't know. What
That's
what, what say you?
that's what I heard. I heard there's more people voting early. But it's also these parties, man, party at the polls. Like, they're saying it in the chat. Everybody got more information in the chat already. Heather Williams says there'll be a DJ at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation
Okay.
party going down. So that's what's up. She said, and Kimber says, and free food. So she says, she also said, I did a party at the polls through NDP a few years ago. We had live music in different polling locations.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that happening, man. Make a party out of it on a different location, and then I have a bus there, and all aboard and get on the bus. Yeah, shout out to Slapback on that one. But yeah, man,
Okay. Okay.
for real, it's you gotta make it be something else because there's a lot of stuff going on that deserve our attention. As a matter of fact, there's a list going around right now, voter protection hotlines. If you got
Man,
problems
yeah.
at the polls, even you need to make a phone call because people are tripping at the phone. That's another fear of people from that people are having, that there's going to be people trying to intimidate you at the polls and all that. So they got protections up. They got a whole situation going on. So it's kind of a good idea to group together first and,
Man.
and get it done together. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's even crazy just to think about, but here we are. Here we are. You got to exercise your right, by any means necessary. That's everybody's favorite term, right?
Right. There you go. Let us know what your experience is. Love to hear from you. If you've gone early, if you're going early today, if you wait until tomorrow, definitely want to hear what it is that your plan of attack is. You going with people,
Man, yeah.
safety in numbers,
I'm
whatever the deal
also
is.
it's kind of side note, I'm kind of curious. Did anybody get drafted? Remember we were talking about that polling place draft. Did anybody get drafted to work at the polling place?
That's a good question. Good question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
If you
Appreciate
did, it's
go
not a
ahead.
scam. Yeah, just let people know if you did, it's not a scam. You might want to
Yeah.
look into that.
Most def. Maggie Miller Jenkins, I'm seeing in the chat, says the lines are so long. Yeah, lines are long. So keep that in mind. Go early. Go early. I'm looking into. There's a conversation going on here that I didn't see your earlier comment. Let's see. Oh, she says, have we spoken on how Iowa looks like it may flip blue? No,
Hmm.
haven't talked about that. I did see something on that. And there was a couple people that came on the news last night that were talking about it being an unexpected thing. So yeah, that is kind of I'm with Governor Kim Reynolds over there, I'm always just like, well, what that's got to be one of the reddest areas around. So that's
Man,
really interesting if it flips blue, for sure. Yep. In the meantime, between time again, if you're just joining us, we're anticipating special guest Jaquila Yarbro to come in and talk about her write-in run for county commissioner. Did reach out to the actual county commissioner. We didn't get a chance to connect this time around. Was
yeah.
trying to get him on before the before vote day, but didn't happen. So we'll try again with Miss Yarborough because she tried to come on last week and had some technical difficulties. So hopefully everything will go good and we'll be able to speak to her. And then also we'll probably be speaking to Senator Terrell McKinney today, and hopefully Senator Wayne as well as we continue on. So that's what's up.
Yeah, man. Put some respect on his name.
Hey, Senator, the Senator. What's up?
Chat's going off, man. Appreciate everybody commenting. Michelle Marino pops in the chat. Maggie Miller Jenkins saying it blasted on my news last night. Not quite sure what you're talking about. Maybe talking about the lines.
Talking about Iowa.
Oh, okay. Iowa flipping blue. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man. I think it could even possibly be a little longer than a few weeks. Before we hear again. Remember, we were all the way in January 6th, and they were still trying to act like they were still in the election. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you go over the story. I got some technical difficulty going on over here.
Well, actually, it's about 30 minutes in. You want to take a quick break?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I gotta fix this real quick. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, while he gets that together, again, a big shout out to all of y'all in the chat. Brother Sean McCarthy says he's voting tomorrow just to show appreciation and solidarity for poll workers. They have a hard enough job already, hoping they don't encounter any sort of intimidation from poll watchers, quote unquote. Emphasis on the quotations around poll watchers. Yeah, man, we haven't really talked about it, but there has been some official warnings and some reports about, a few of the FBI field officers in the Omaha area preparing for possible election day issues and things like that. Again, no real threats or anything that I'm hearing on the news wires, but again, be vigilant. You keep your head on the swivel and yeah, just be safe out there as you go to exercise your right. You good over there?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, it's always something on a Monday. You know how it is.
Oh yeah, Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break and jump back into a story. And again, hang with us through the 8 o'clock hour. We have more conversation. We can get a little bit deeper into the conversation part of it. Stay tuned. Again, you're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B.
Paul B.
He's buddy to God.
Hey.
Yep. It's time to get our hustle on, y'all. Let's do it.
Hustle on, hustle till the break of dawn. Do whatever makes me strong. Worry about the right and wrong. Time to get my hustle on, hustle till the break of dawn. Do whatever makes me strong. Worry about the right and wrong. Living in the HIC, brothers all surrounding me. Ain't no futures here. Just lies full of pain and fear. Time for a different stroke. I'm tired always being broke. Me and just about all my folks. I'm tired of being without hope. So it's time to get my hustle on. Hustle till the break of dawn. Do whatever makes me strong. Worry about the right and wrong. It's time to get my hustle.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. Buddy
Paul
to God.
B.
Man.
You good?
Man, Monday's tripping. That's what it is. That's what it is, man. And like I said, appreciate you guys coming in and talking about what's going on. It's dominating the news right now. Of course, it's the election that's happening tomorrow. Sean McCarthy in the chat says voting tomorrow just to show appreciation, solidarity for poll workers. That was a great thought, I thought, because they have a hard enough time already, hoping they didn't encounter any sort of intimidation from poll watchers.
Yeah.
Sitting in big trucks trying to peep you out.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Again, it's been reported Nebraska has, the most active hate groups in the nation, over 24.
Maggie Miller Jenkins is reminding us about those stories last week. They're setting poll boxes on fire in Washington and in Oregon. A lot of people been saying that they are going on the day of because they didn't even want to put stuff in the boxes because
Yeah,
of
man.
what's going on. I'm sure there's
Arizona
a
too.
very isolated incidents, but still can cause a little bit of fear because those votes were lost,
Yeah.
got burned up in those boxes. So,
Actually, to that point, Anthony Rogers right with an update on that, which I
mm,
appreciate. Says, yeah, that's a real problem. Apparently, they're on top of it and were able to contact roughly 90% of voters who are impacted. So,
okay, that's good to know.
yeah, that's good
Appreciate
news. That's good news. Definitely, wondering how that would impact the whole situation with the, counting of votes and things like that. But yeah, again, if you are one of those people who will put your vote in the mailbox, make sure you're putting it in again the official polling box, not just the regular USPS mailbox because that takes time for them to go through and deliver. But the polling boxes, again, the polling workers and locations will empty those out directly. So yeah,
that.
make sure you check that out. I think Sister Ashley Spivey actually released a list of those drop off boxes on Friends of. So yeah, make sure you check that out.
There you go.
Well,
All right, being time between time, let's jump into the news. What's on top of mind, buddy?
yeah, keeping it moving. Again, as I mentioned, we've been, doing our best, our due diligence at staying on top of the candidates and reaching out to as many candidates as we can, especially those who are running in your areas and allowing them to speak their piece. But again, want to stay on top of some of the things that are happening as far as the major um, things that you'll be voting on directly. Again, several ballot issues are going directly to the people, directly to the vote. Of course, medical marijuana is one of the big ones that a lot of people have been calling for and paying attention to. Actually, I was down in Florida for my school's homecoming over the weekend. Just kind of drove down on Saturday, and that was one of the big things. There are people out there pushing for the legalization of marijuana out there, and we're kind of seeing it across the nation, but particularly in Nebraska. Again, we've spoken to several senators. They've identified the legalization of marijuana as one of the main ways or one of the biggest ways to kind of combat what's going on with the property taxes and to keep some revenue streams coming in for the state. And the people have actually voted for it several times throughout the state of Nebraska, as far as the will of the voters has actually passed medical marijuana several times. But the Supreme Court has stepped in past times, and it looked like that would be the case again. But Nebraska Examiner is reporting that a judge has since ruled that the Nebraska medical cannabis votes will be counted. Again, there was a question whether or not the ballot initiatives the ballot votes or petition votes, excuse me, would go through. But again, as reported by Nebraska Examiner, the votes cast for or against Nebraska's two medical cannabis ballot measures Tuesday will be counted and made public after a district court judge rebuffed a request to prevent both actions. Lancaster County District Judge Susan Strong says she actually agreed with attorney Daniel Gutman, who is defending the ballot sponsors. Actually, shout out to Daniel Gutman. I had him on the show before. That status quo is to count votes on election day. She noted that it was the Nebraska Secretary of State, Bob Ebnen, who certified the measures for the ballot and that Nebraskans are already voting. Strong also ruled Friday against the request to delay the trial. Again, without a temporary restraining order or other injunctive relief before 8 a.m. on Monday, the horse is out of the barn, so to speak, in regards to, again, early voters. We've talked about the record amount of early voters already voting on some of these ballot initiatives. But here we are again, seeing the Attorney General and the Secretary of State trying to use the Supreme Court to kind of muddy up this process. Something similar to what we've seen with them with the whole felon voting situation, or a returning citizen voting, as we like to call it here on this show. So again, it is a very interesting. Just kind of watch what the Attorney General's office is doing. Again, attorneys from the Nebraska Attorney General's office are arguing on evidence behalf, outline about 80,000 petition signatures this week in a trial before the judge. Again, attorneys use their efforts this week largely to support the efforts of Evidence attorneys. So again, getting closer possibly to seeing the legalization of marijuana in Nebraska. Brother Anthony Rogers writing in the chat, egging it on, saying just legalize it already. Washington State has garnered over $5 billion since legalizing weed in 2014. And again, this is more than just people trying to get pot. You know what I mean? Like we're definitely talking about how does the state make money. Again, several senators, and maybe we can speak to the senators a little later on about their stance on this, but recognizing the legalization of marijuana as especially something that will impact property taxes, which, as we have talked about, has tentacles in everything. Paul, somebody coming from Cali, you've seen how it works out firsthand, man. What say you on all of this?
Yeah, he's talking about 5 billion in Washington State. The billions in Cali is even greater than that. It's
Man.
definitely a thing. And what I'm thinking about right now is the way that we're talking about this. We're talking about this in the term in the form of economics, under this kind of this will be good for the state, this property taxes and all this, as if we have to be appealing to Republicans and other people
Mm.
about why this will save us money or make us money, or like the money is the issue. But it's not really too much of the issue when it comes to the reason why people are, I think the reason why people are voting for it. I think they see the value in medical marijuana.
Yeah.
I think they have learned what some of the value is. I think they are asking for the freedom to be able to do what they want to do with the plants that are coming from the ground. I think there's a lot of other issues here with for why people they see the way that they have been demonizing it for years for certain groups, war on drugs, all these things
Mhm.
that are happening, and it just doesn't make any sense to anybody anymore. And they also, and then the last point for me is, yes, how it'll make money for your state. It'll make money. It'll help with some of the bills that have to happen in the state. But to me, that's an appeal to the people that care about only care about the bottom line on stuff. It is something that has to be stated and is a fact. But that's what's kind of floating around in my head about it right now. It's just like, what's the reason for even wanting it in the first place? What's the real reason? I don't want the conversation to be dominated by it'll help property taxes and so on.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
Mhm.
sure it will, but that reminds me that I live in a red state and we have to
Man.
argue those things with that argument all the time, and that's too bad. I just kind of want to remember the rest of it too. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's I appreciate that response. And yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as you see the chat chimers kind of echoing as you mentioned, as far as wanting to do what they can with the plant. Rome's review saying it's an herb, not a drug. Although again, through legal laws and scheduling, they made it a drug. And that's kind of where my mind goes as far as another angle to this whole conversation is, the criminality aspect of it. And we're still dealing with, overcrowding, severe overcrowding in Nebraska's prison system. So does this one thing that always comes on the heels of this conversation is, if you're legalizing marijuana, are you then going to revisit people who are serving sentences on marijuana charges? Are you going to commute some sentences? That's definitely a conversation that needs to be had if this is the direction that the people, the voters are going to go. And that's kind of the big thing is what is there's two different things, which is also a big thing from this article for me is we think of Nebraska as this red state, the super liberal or super conservative red state. But Nebraska voters across the state, both in urban and rural, have been voting for marijuana. They've been voting
People.
for the people of Nebraska want it. It's the quote unquote powers that be. The last time the people voted for it and the Supreme Court came back and struck it down on the technicality. That was the powers that be saying that they don't want it, not the people voting saying that they don't want it. And here we are again, the people voting for it. They got the petition. The people organized. They worked. They pound the pavement. They did their civic hustle and made it happen. And here we are once again, the Supreme Court and the Secretary of State and the quote unquote powers that be, rather than again exercising and acknowledging the will of the people, trying to fight it. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Big problem. Big problem. People in the chat are saying some things about it. Maggie Miller Jenkins is saying the medical industry does not like the medical approval of marijuana because it costs them on big pharma. We
That too.
mentioned this last week, and I said something last week, and somebody came back with a rebuttal on that a little bit, saying that the medical industry would love to be able to use this. It would actually bring money to the medical industry. As we all know, Nebraska, Omaha, especially, very medical, very health
Mm-hmm.
health what's the industrial health complex town.
Yep. Yep.
And I got a little push. Somebody pushed. I can't even remember who did it, but somebody pushed back on that a little bit because that's what I thought too. I was like, big pharma is really pushing against this in a big way, and hence the medical industry here in Omaha. But somebody from the medical industry pushed back on that a little bit and said they actually would love to have it because it's just another tool, another way that they can make money as well. There'd be money that goes in it, but I'm sure that there's going to be some conflicts of interest as well with a lot of people getting paid by big pharma, and that's been historically how it's been going on. The big pharma has been fighting it in a big way. So that's what it is. Also, Pops in the chat is saying keeping marijuana illegal feeds the court and jail systems,
Which is, yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. That's actually kind of been one of your theories, Paul, as far as, again, us looking at the state trying to build more prisons and where the state is kind of perfectly, situated right next to Colorado. Like you mentioned, you feel like they are trying to, as far as the state goes, are trying to go the way of the court and jail systems and just catch people trying to come through the state.
Yeah, that's my idea is that before this happens, they'll build another jail. They rather make their money on the prison industry than they do the hemp and marijuana and medical marijuana industry. I think it will come at some point. It's just like it. There's other states that I've been very surprised that it happened in, and it could happen here, but it's going to happen last. It's going to happen close to last,
Man.
and there's going to be probably another jail built before it happens. Is my prediction. So we'll see.
Well, you got the opportunity to vote on it now. So again, big news as far as the judge allowing that to go through, allowing those votes to count. And if you haven't already voted, there's definitely one of the issues to educate yourself on whether or not you do support medical marijuana. And I'll end on this as far as, again, the will of the people and why people are voting on it. To your point, it's not about the bottom line, the property taxes and things like that. It is actually mostly medical. A lot of people, especially dealing with cerebral palsy and nerve system damage and pain, dealing with migraines and things like that, especially young children who can't really find the medicines and can't really find the things that can help them with their ailments. A lot of them are turning to medical marijuana and things like that, CBD pills, ointments, things like that. That's really where it's going. It's not really a heavy recreational culture in Nebraska. You know what I mean? It's not like Cali. This is a different thing. So yeah, I am kind of curious to see how this plays out, but it is looking like it is going in the direction of legalization in Nebraska. So one of the big ballot issues to look out for. We are getting close to the end of the first hour. We got our guest coming up. So I don't know, Paul, you want to dive into it? The next ballot issue, next topic. You want to take a break? What you think?
What do you feel like? You need a break real quick?
Yeah, let's take a quick break, kind of smell the coffee beans and yeah.
Speaking of coffee beans, shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee. I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. A sponsor of the channel, Drunk Ship Coffee, is a black-owned coffee company out of California that sources their beans from one farm in Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. Get your grinders ready. It's a full bean so that you can get the full effect. And order now. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com and check them out. Shout out to them for always supporting what we're doing over here at First Sky Omaha, and everybody else that has been supporting us as well, including Ashley Spivey, who we have been showing this flyer that I now have taken down. What?
Oh man,
not ready.
Lord of mercy.
Not ready this morning. Shout out to Ashley Spivey for doing the work that she's been doing. If you haven't seen the videos that we put out from her walking with Justin Pearson, shout out to Justin Pearson, who came out here from one of the Tennessee 3. Came out here and it was really interesting to see him work, and he took some time out of his run to come out here and support Senator Terrell McKinney, Ashley Spivey, and a few others, Democratic Party, and a few others for just trying to help get out the vote. So go to First Sky Omaha, the group page. It's on the group page. It's on our main page. It's on our YouTube channel, which you can go like and subscribe as well. Check out those videos on the YouTube channel and check out the walking that Justin P did. Man. With Senator Terrell McKinney and Ashley Spivey. It was great. So shout out to Ashley Spivey for still running the race, District 13. Don't forget to get with her tomorrow as well, because we need to make sure that happens. We need a new dynamic duo in the legislature, and that's how I'm calling that. So appreciate it very much.
Big time.
We'll take No, we'll take a quick break. RG cracking me up. We'll take a quick the drunk ship. Put the P on that.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break and come right back. Shout out to everybody that's hanging with us through the first and second hour. Highly encourage you to hang through the 8 o'clock hour as well, so we can have more conversation and speak more to some of the guests that'll be coming on at that time as well. In the meantime, between time, my name is Paul B.
Paul B.
Yeah. This is Buddy the God.
Hey.
We are First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Day before election, y'all. Woo.
Man.
Goodness. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Just wanted to jump back in real quick because I just want to remind people that there's something that's going on right now today. Canvassers are needed today and tomorrow. And shout out to Shamika Simpson, who's been putting in mad work day and night. She's the only other person besides myself that has been up for the last 2-3 days. Grinding in, that I know of. I'm sure there's a bunch of other people out there, but the ones that I've been
doing, about to get some phone calls.
Yeah, that I know of that's been on this job here. So again, she gave me an update. If you haven't been if you've been paying attention, we've been putting on First Sky Omaha and Friends of group page that she was hiring for canvassers for the next 3 days, and she gave us an update this morning on the next 2 days. Says we are hiring canvassers and sign holders to be a part of the Homeland Heroes team. Even named it. I like that, Homeland Heroes. $300 a day. Bring 2 people with you. Meet at 13750 Millard Avenue, Suite 100. Arrive at 9:30 because canvassing will start from 10 o'clock this morning till 7 p.m. tonight. She says bring your ID, Social Security, and direct deposit information to expedite the hiring process. I think your direct deposit information is your bank account number and your routing number for your bank.
Yeah.
Also, dress for the weather and download the minivan and group meet apps before arrival. The hours are 10 to 7 today and 7 to 7 tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you must work both days to receive payment. Again, it's $300 a day. Give her a text at 402-301-3944 if you're interested, or just show up down there with the material. And this is the latest. This is the latest stuff that's happening here with the canvassing efforts that Shamika Simpson is a part of as well. And a lot of these canvassers that she's pulling together will help at some of these locations that she's got going on around the state. Really, she's got several different counties. This one's in Douglas County, Omaha, at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. There's the opportunity for you to go get some information about the races and also kind of hang out, have some food, some music. Somebody in the chat said that there's a DJ out there today.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then the bus leaves at 10 o'clock this morning for you to get on that bus and head down to the Election Commission office to vote early. This is the last day to vote early. So they kind of party at the off sites in order to get to the polls, ride to the polls. So shout out to everybody who's been behind this, ACLU, Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Black Votes Matter has been a part of it as well, Redline. So I appreciate everybody who's been putting in the work to make this happen and make it an exciting event. And special shout out to Shamika Simpson, who's like really opening up the opportunity for everybody in town to really kind of get paid, help, do some civic work. Like Buddy calls it, the civic side hustle is a thing.
Man.
So, yeah,
Get some
appreciate it. Yep.
All right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Tap in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at. I jumped onto the chat real quick and lost my
okay,
thought.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you was done with your spiel or not. I didn't want to cut you off. That's all.
No. I appreciate it. But yeah, just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. I'll keep on talking about that throughout the show, so that you guys can really kind of understand the urgency of this. This is happening today, and tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
It's happening now. As soon as you get done listening to the show, head out and become a canvasser. Do the duty.
Yeah, make sure you got the right walking shoes on deck. And yeah, if I'm not mistaken, if my math is mad thing, that's what $600 in a couple days.
A couple days worth of work of what you was probably already going to do anyway. Canvas and keep the push happening through the election. Get people voting.
Man,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
what's up.
again, yeah, shout out to Queen Mika for putting that together, and shout out to all of you for tuning in. Again, First Guy Omaha in the morning. We're in full swing, reaching actually quickly approaching the halfway mark of that show. So yeah, big shout out to all of you, and shout out to our guests. Again, we are expecting Jaquala Yarbro to come through, running for Douglas County Commission. And I'm not sure exactly which district, so we're gonna have to get that right. Get that.
I did know. Let me see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can get that for me.
Let me see
See
if I
what
put it on
exactly what
the flyer.
district so you can know, if you're voting for her.
Didn't put it on the flyer. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's try to see. So because again, her name won't be on the ballot. She is a write-in. So again, you got to know what district you're in. If she's, in your district, or if you're in her district, write her in. Write her in. So again, yeah, big shout out to Jaquala Yarbro, and then also shout out to the senators, Terrell McKinney, Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to them pretty soon. But in the meantime, between time, again, we are approaching the halfway mark of the show. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and join that Friends of First Guy Omaha group page on Facebook. That is where we get a lot of the stories and a lot of things that we're talking about. So again, big shout out to all of you who are on there dropping stories, sharing. We kind of call you our co-host, keeping us on top of things, man. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Also, we are approaching the second hour where we, like to open things up, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. So as always, if there's anything that we're not talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. As always, big shout out to those of you who are already commenting, jumping into the chat, joining the conversation, letting your mind be free. Actually, Sean McCarthy really quickly giving us some updates on drunk shit, man.
Man,
Yeah, man. I feel like that's a good thing.
I gotta check in. I gotta check in with them. I'm not sure. Drunk Ship is sold out of their coffee. She said, if that is the worst thing that happens this week, I'll take it. I like that.
Hey, selling out a product, man, and maybe that's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Man. So shout
yeah.
out to the fam over at Drunk Ship.
Yeah, we'll definitely check in with him. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Celeste Butler that came on talking about the gathering has begun. Quincy went home to conduct the official concert.
Man,
Once again, if you're just joining us, you haven't heard the legend Quincy Jones passed away over the weekend at 91. And we just want to give shout outs to his family, man, family, and all the friends in the family. It's weird growing up in California. You're always a person or two away from somebody like this brother right here. And did a little bit of stuff with Q3 back in the 90s. And he was really hot with working on some film stuff back in the day too, man. And it was kind of in the ecosystem. So yeah, his family lives on. His family is still doing things. And so peace to him and his family. And brother lived a long life doing some great things, man. So and
full life.
Full life. And trust me, every bit of your life has been touched by Quincy Jones. There's nobody out here whose life hasn't been touched by some of the music and work that he's done in a big way. So
Whether you know it or not.
Yeah, rest in peace, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And also we almost forgot, man, but this has been heavy, especially in the DJ community, the loss of DJ Clark Kent, man.
Right.
Rest in peace to DJ Clark Kent. Again,
about to hit
legendary DJ producer, a lot of the Jay-Z and yeah. A lot of hits, especially from the 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. Rest in peace to DJ Clark Kent.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, with that said, man, let's keep it moving. Again, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's see, we got time to dive into.
Go ahead and jump into us. Coming up on the 8 o'clock hour right now, and my man, one of the hardest working brothers in politics, is in the waiting room. Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Yeah, okay.
We got a lot of special guests coming in today, so we want to make sure that we give him some time. Ladies and gentlemen, put some respect on his name. It is now time for Senator Terrell McKinney in the house. Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
Good morning, y'all. I'm good, bro.
You look good, man. You look like you looking rested. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Okay. About 24 hours until the election, man. How you feeling? How's any plans for the last push for your campaign?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Just Man, just continuing to work, man. Just meetings and just finishing up some things. That's about it for me.
Okay. Will you be going to like any watch parties or anything? You plan on how you plan on watching the results?
Yeah, I will. I stop by a couple, watch parties and things like that, and
Okay,
just
making your rounds.
yeah, chill
Man.
Yeah,
out.
brother McKinney, you always remind me of especially during Husker season that let's not get too high on some stuff. Let's not get too low. Let's just stay even
Yeah.
and find out what's happening. So,
Stoicism.
appreciate your stoicism on that for real.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Yeah,
Man. I mean,
mhm.
just speaking of that, like where's your head at? And, how you feeling, or what's kind of on your radar? I would say, are you thinking of the election? Are you thinking about the sessions coming up? Where's your mind?
Uh, I ain't really too much thought about the election. I honestly, to be real, like just want the day to be over, like regardless of any.
Man, Paul, you hear that?
Man, I want this day to be over so bad.
Like I've always, cause I just always been working, bro. Like I
Hmm.
have taken the time to like kind of dwell on like the election, like what's gonna happen too much. Like it is what it is. Like it's gonna happen. Like the day is gonna be the day. So regardless of anything, you still got a job to do, and I still got a job to do. Like so, still got to do the work. So that's all I've thought about. Is just doing the work. I'm not going to dwell on things that are going to be no matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Still got law school to go to. Still got babies to raise. Still got things to make happen. So yeah, I definitely feel that. But again, if you do win, you will that will dictate how much work that you have to do. So we're definitely excited about your race and what's going on with that situation. Um, we were kind of talking about again, if you do win, some of the things that will take place as far as these ballot initiatives that might change some of the bills that you might be pushing. I am kind of curious. I don't know how much you heard about a conversation on the legalization of marijuana, but it does look like that might be going forward. Again, the judge allowing those votes to go through. If that is something that passes, do you see the possibility of opening up the conversation about releasing some inmates in regards to those who are serving marijuana sentences or looking at marijuana sentencing in the state?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the ballot initiative, because it's two
Yep.
marijuana ballot initiative. I think one of them deal with that somewhat, but yeah, for sure. I think it's a deeper conversation though,
Mm,
because even when you think about marijuana, a lot of people aren't just in prison just based in marijuana. It might be other charges. It's yes, I do agree. Like we do need to have that conversation about decriminalizing marijuana and making sure that people who do have those charges pardoned and taken off their records for sure. Because at the end of the day, it's no reason that none of us should be able to get on our phones and trade marijuana stocks, and we
mm,
sit in state and federal prisons because it's illegal, and it just makes no sense. So for sure, we definitely got to have that conversation, and it has to be a real conversation. So I'm all on board about having that conversation because one, not just medical, I think recreational should be legal, but
mm.
that's a deeper conversation because I would say just knowing just people in general on all sides of this matter. It's not just a one-sided issue of people who are against recreational being legal. So we're gonna have to have some deeper conversations.
it's interesting that we haven't had these deeper conversations quite yet. Yet there's all these cannabis shops,
Mm.
the shops that are popping up all over town, all over Omaha, everywhere, with different strains of things that still have the same effect. It's really interesting, like who owns those places and how that's even happening right now.
Yeah,
Man,
and and,
man.
and that's also an issue to me as well because to me what I'm looking at it is they setting up those CBD shops or whatever you want to call them in preparation for whether it's next year, 10 years, whatever, when that legalization of recreational does happen, they already gonna have that foothold in it, foot in the door, like, hey, we ready.
Hmm.
And just think about how people within our community who have been disproportionately impacted by negative laws that pertain to marijuana, and our people, having these records and being over incarcerated because of it, haven't been able to take advantage of those things. And then also talking about the high poverty rates in our communities and communities like ours across the country, and how it's super deep, and how people from outside spaces are able to just set up shop in our communities. So it
Man.
we gonna have to ensure, because I know even when we were in special session, and I know when I was working on the bill I was doing, although I knew it was a long shot, I was making sure there was some equity within that bill to make
Hmm.
that, even though it might have been a long shot to get it passed to deal with property tax relief, that people understood that I just don't want, you know, marijuana to be legal just because of property tax relief or anything like that. I want it to be legal because I want my people to take advantage of it for, economic reasons, for our people to decriminalize it, to make sure, like, it's deeper for me than just saying I want to give some relief to this state, this racist.
Hmm.
Like, that's the least of my concerns. My concerns is taking care of a community that has been negatively impacted by war on Black people.
Right. But
You just said something that I echo earlier. The same thing. We using this argument that it's going to help out the state financially, as if that's the biggest argument, but it's really the reason behind it in the first place that we need to be concentrating on for sure.
yeah, it's just kind of a added on kind of icing on the cake. The fact that there is an economic benefit for the state in general. But yeah, I definitely appreciate that. As far as the impact on our communities, and that kind of makes me think now, like these 42 degrees and these other places that are in our
50
communities.
Shades of Green.
Yeah, yeah, and they are in our communities, specifically. And I am kind of wondering, what is the regulation of these places already? Like we're talking about the legalization. There is regulation, and I do want to, round back around. Somebody in the chat is asking about this board, but just in general, what is the regulation right now? Because I am thinking of a personal story. I lost a family member who was using this kratom stuff, and some of these other
Mm.
herbs and products that they're selling at these shops. So yeah, where is the regulation right now?
I mean, the 50 Shades of Grays of the world, they're able to operate because of legalized legal hemp, and because of the hemp bill and things like that. So that's how they're able to operate. But we had a hearing, I think, on kratom or something. It was a hearing going around all this, and I didn't realize how bad kratom was. Like, it's crazy. So
Man.
and so it's just, there's not a lot of especially like with kratom. I don't think it's a lot of understanding, just even of elected officials, of what it does and what it is exactly. So
Yet it's being sold in these places.
Right, right. Exactly. And
and there's not a lot of regulations around it. And so I think there has to be some more conversations about it, because even like going to the gas station, and I used to see it, I'm like, what is kratom? Like, what is it?
mhm.
Why are people buying this? Then I was sitting in a hearing and people were discussing it, and they were like, it's like a herb, but it's like
It's
this,
synthetic.
it's this synthetic mixture that's kind of like heroin and meth, and like, it's messed up, but it's being sold, and we have to create some regulations around it. And it gets tricky because on one hand, I agree we need regulations, but two, when we discuss regulations and things like that, a lot of times those regulations, when they're discussed, talk about increasing penalties.
Mm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Anytime you get into that conversation, it's about raising felonies and making new crimes. And honestly, when you look at the the things that are on the books, you really don't need anything else to be added. It's just really like the people being held accountable, and
Mhm.
and that's one thing. But also, it's like especially, and it's kind of off topic, but it's kind of in the same topic. When people talk about like the juveniles and what's going on, it's like it's hard for me to it's hard for me to be like, let's increase crimes to hold juveniles accountable when I know for a fact that the system is made to make sure that these kids end up in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I say yes, let's lock them all up? Like that to me, that's just crazy. When we all know like it was designed for all this to happen.
Yeah. I hear you, man. Before we get off of this topic with the cannabis here, Magic Miller Jenkins in the chat is
Mm-hmm.
asking, how does the senator think they will staff the marijuana board they're attempting to create?
Okay.
Also, one more question to consider from her is there a way we could encourage the powers that be choose at least one person who has been incarcerated and can keep them human focused
It's a
in
good
this?
idea.
Mhm.
As far as the marijuana board, I think all that, what if passed, I think that comes through the legislature. So we'll have to discuss that as far as like what it'll look like and what the makeup will be. I believe, if I could be wrong, but I believe if passed, something usually with ballot initiatives, once they pass, there also has to be something done in the legislature to like fully implement it, essentially. So we'll have that discussion because I definitely think, people, especially people who have lived experience and people who have been impacted, should be on that board. So definitely, I wouldn't. And it gets tricky with boards because a lot of times these boards are at the discretion of the governor more times than not. And unless you get super prescriptive on who qualifies, they will put people who they cool with and people who really don't got the best, like especially like a marijuana board. If it's not, I'm hoping they wrote it. Well, not even hoping they wrote it. Even if it comes through the legislature, we're gonna have to make sure that bill doesn't allow for the governor just to pick somebody
Yeah.
crazy, a bunch
My
of crazy
thoughts exactly.
to like make sure like even though it's passed, like it's a waste of time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I I I think it comes through the legislature for implementation. So we'll just have to make sure like we do our job and make sure whatever is getting passed is the right thing.
Yeah. Hopefully, we wouldn't want to see where it's a situation where it falls under the parole board, which is basically the the very people who just try to block it in the Supreme Court. Secretary of State, governor, attorney general.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Appreciate your thoughts on that, Senator. For sure, would be. I'm reminded about some of the things that you guys have talked about in the past. You and Senator Wayne have talked about bills that you've been behind and pushed in votes and stuff like that, and understanding where you guys stand on it and why is very very comforting. But also, I appreciate what you're saying about the reason behind this. There's more nuanced thought that has to be made on how this is going to affect North Omaha, how this will affect our people for sure,
mhm.
because it's so many moving parts on this one. It can't just be whether or not it's legal or not. There's much more to the argument. So, this is something I'm sure that will be continuing to go on and talk about for sure. And if you have any suggestions on how we can get down to the bottom of some of these issues, let us know. We'll be happy to bring some folks on and talk about it even deeper.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, how we doing on time? I did want to pivot into
Mhm.
something. Did you have
Yeah, we
something
got
else,
we
Paul?
got about a minute left with the brother, but we'll probably move past that.
Yeah,
We
how
do
it
have some
goes.
guests coming on here very shortly, though. We want to give her some time as well. But go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. And before we get to that, I did want to pivot. There's another story that we have lined up. This is something that you, Senator, have kind of been instrumental in as far as the school choice conversation and the passing of LB 1402, which again is currently in law. I just want to clarify when we talk about school choice, this whole school choice situation. This is something that's already in law, and what voters will be voting on is to repeal this law. And I just kind of wanted to get into the news. Actually, Omaha World Herald is reporting that there are already scholarships rolling out And I just kind of want to see the impact and maybe even question whether or not this changes people's point of view on the situation. Because I know, again, a lot of it is questioning who will benefit from these scholarships. And according to the Omaha World Herald, about 4,000 scholarships have already been awarded to Nebraska students through LB 1402, which again is the state's education scholarship law that is targeted in this year's election. To kind of clarify again for those who are still confused on the vote, supporters of the law provided the number at a press event Thursday. The event at a Holy Name School in Omaha was designed to celebrate the awards. Voters in this year's election will decide whether to keep or repeal. So, again, if you are voting for this, you're voting to strike this bill down. So, you're essentially voting against the law. So, again, voting for the referendum is voting against the law, which again can be confusing, but hopefully clarifying that. So again, if you're voting for this, you're voting to take the law down. If you're voting against it, you're voting to keep this as a law. My question to you, Senator, is again, 4,000 scholarships have gone out. I've kind of read the bill myself as far as first come, first serve. What is some of the biggest misconceptions about actually how the bill is written and how it's going to play out versus, just the conversation that you're hearing around this whole situation?
There's a lot. Let's go all day. Um, I guess for me, bro, like I've like said from the beginning, like my whole stance on all this has been based in just fact. If that I think kids from this community deserve every opportunity at an education. When people talk about it's going to destroy the schools, yes, you can make that argument, but I can also make the same argument that the schools are already destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had some hearings over on Friday dealing with schools. One looking at how to close the educational gaps and looking at the school district size and the historical under education of students in OPS. And we had some deep conversations. And my thing about it has always been if at the end of the day, like if this gets repealed, which will probably happen, we got
Mm.
to have an honest conversation about okay, if we are saying kids in North Omaha, because I represent North Omaha, so I'm using North Omaha. We saying that they should only they not only but hypothetically, no, not even hypothetically, they are pretty much primarily only going to public schools.
Mm-hmm.
How public school system?
Mhm.
Because every statistical category for the past 30 years is saying that the public school system has failed them. And we got to be honest about that. So how do we fix it? Because when you go to the school district, they tell you that we got enough money. Then you'll hear people say, give the schools more money. They'll tell you we have more money. They're lowering their levy, which means they're decreasing the amount of money they need every year. I'm just saying we got to have honest conversations, and that's what I was telling the school board and people from the teachers union and things like that. That at the end of the day, I'm tired of kids from my community being failed. That's where I've always stood, and that's where I always will stand is for the kids. Like at the end of the day, who's going to advocate for the kids and the families?
Mm-hmm.
When the kids end up on the news for something, ain't nobody advocating for them no more. You got people wanting to lock them up at 12 years old because of the society has failed them, and it's not just education. Like, and I've said that too. Like, it's not just the education system; it's the child welfare system has failed them. The criminal justice system has failed them. Society has failed them. Like, e- our economy has failed them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
having so much poverty in a community leads to a lot of this as well. But just as we say, like, it takes a village to raise a kid, then if the education system is within the village, we have to look at that system and say, how do we fix this and how do we make this better? Like that, and that's where it's at for me. So I haven't really thought about. the scholarship thing, because I hate having a conversation because nobody. No, I'm not saying y'all, but a lot of
Mm,
people want to have a real conversation.
mm,
They talk about discrimination, but how do you have 30 years of data that says kids from this community have been undereducated? You got a report that says recently that says black kids are still disproportionately suspended, and that's been going on for the past decade.
yep.
How's that discrimination? But public schools don't discriminate. When kids apply for option enrollment, one of the things on top of the thing asks if a kid has a disability so they can rule them out, but they don't discriminate. Then I had another hearing on banning bar policies in schools, banning barring families for just frivolous things, and they don't discriminate. Like, nobody wants to have a real conversation. I'm open to a real conversation, but nobody wants to because a lot of time, and I'm cool with being wrong. I could be like I don't think I'm right all the time. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. But a lot of times people don't want to have real conversations because people don't want to admit when they're wrong. I'm cool being wrong. If we could sit in the room, have a conversation, and I'm wrong, I'd be like, all right, I'm wrong. A lot of people can't because they have too much inflated egos. I don't, because at the end of the day, I want to see my community be better.
Yes,
That's
yes,
it.
your
That,
goal.
More than being right.
that's my goal at the end of the day. And and that's what and that's what really annoys me, is that a lot of people like to shape narratives to fit their argument, but they don't want to tell the truth. Nobody wants to have a real conversation. And then, like, you have the teachers, some people from, what was it, the OEA or something, come in,
Mm-hmm.
they making arguments, and I'm like, nothing about this says anything about helping the kids. It's about protecting y'all.
Mm.
Like, what about the kids?
Yeah.
We'll continue to have this conversation. Go
It
ahead.
is like, at the end of the day, if it passes or it don't, I think the people will speak, and whatever the people say, I'm supportive of. But I just want to fix the education system in the state of Nebraska for kids in my community, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And again, the scholarships are already going out. So if this is repealed, then there will be some students who are, told that they can't go to the school that they were planning on going to because the scholarship was taken away. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be more conversation to be had, and it's going out, and yeah, we'll definitely see that, see how it plays out.
Appreciate your time, Senator. We're going to go ahead and let you go so we can get our next guest on. But thank you very much. I'm glad that the run is going well. I've probably seen you more this past few weeks than I've seen you all year, personally, just because of being out and about doing this work. So I appreciate it very much. Any work that you're going to get done today and tomorrow on the get out the vote side?
Uh, is it still raining? I'll be out.
Mm,
Will see me. I'll be around, like moving around, just trying to meet people, probably get some canvassing done, and I got some meetings today too, so I'll be around.
Right on. Appreciate you, bro.
nice.
We'll catch up with you soon.
All right, thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. Always a pleasure to talk to put some respect on his name, Senator Terrell McKinney, for
There you go.
sure. And we'll jump right back into our next guest because she's been waiting in the wings for a while. We don't want her to wait anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaquala Yarbro is in the house. Put some respect on her name. She's running for district. Which district are you running for? We had this question a little earlier.
3. Okay,
District
okay. I
three.
thought so. I
Got it.
thought so. Didn't want to
County
misspeak. Okay.
Commissioner, District 3. Appreciate you joining us
I
today.
know y'all did.
What?
I'm
What?
running for District 3. I know you guys didn't. District
What
3.
did we? What did you?
No, we want to. Yeah. We
So,
want to make sure you got it right because you been written in.
yes. Yes, yes. So, thank you so much for your time today, guys. I thoroughly always enjoy listening to Senator McKinney because he might, he's very humble and he's like, I could be wrong. He's I will say seldom ever wrong. I have never disagreed with very much of what he said. But that's that's that North Omaha. So
Yeah, big shout out to Senator McKinney. But yeah, shout out to you also for taking the time to speak with us. So we always enjoy hearing you speak as well. And I guess we
thank
can
you.
kind of jump in on that, or just before I guess we get into it, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about your campaign, especially since the news broke about the formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters being able to vote? Has that changed things for you since that decision came down?
You know what? I'm a go-getter. And so
Okay.
I, gave it some attention, issued a press release that the day of, and I just went forward because obviously, there's always something at play in Nebraska. It doesn't necessarily we don't necessarily always have the time to respond and get the legal response that we want. And so it's always important to be dedicated to the people and getting the word out. So, I really haven't focused on that except for when I run across folks who are convicted felons. I just you can vote, make sure you register. So literally while I was out canvassing, there's been people who have, said, hey, how do I register? And we made sure that
Mm,
they were able to go register. So there were so many people who still had not received the news that they could vote. Um, I think that's going to set us up in the future for future elections in Nebraska, for every election, to
absolutely.
go a lot better. But I have not let that stop us at all. Not even the rain. Look at my hair. We have been. I kid you not. I have gotten rained on. But just really out. The work that I do in the community, really advocating for families who are dealing with child welfare, families who are kids who keep getting ensnared in this perpetual pipeline to prison. I do that every day. So for me, I win every day. So to become the Douglas County Commissioner is the next step in my line of goals, because it's the best way now that I can advocate for my community, having developed a full plan for the county that best reflects success for our community. It obviously involved asset-based community development, which the incumbent is opposed to. The incumbent, his style of infrastructure development is to have administrators who are not necessarily from our neighborhoods and from our communities develop a plan for us, and then have some little pot shot conversations off and on about the plan that they've already developed. And that's just not effective. It's not how you get things done. And we've seen over and over again for the past 20 years that just doesn't work. So I haven't wasted any time. We're out knocking doors, canvassing, meeting people. I had a chance to meet up with Dan Osborne yesterday. He's another independent that's running. They had an event. I did not know I was going to be a speaker. I was just invited to meet the candidate, and they end up giving me a few moments to speak to the people. And so that was great. And really just encourage people to support the independent movement, because a lot of people don't know that you can't run in the primary. You can't get on the ballot if you're not a part of a major party in Nebraska, and you
Hmm.
can't run in the primary, which really gives people from larger parties an advantage. And that's why the political climate looks the way it looks in Nebraska. You have people who join a party just because they want to run in a primary. They may not
Hmm.
align with party values or whatnot, but you can't get on the ballot for the primary, and they don't want to do what we did and have to hit the pavement all summer because you weren't on the primary ballot. So working,
Yeah, making it happen, making it happen.
making it
And
happen, Captain.
that's Man, it's something that you don't really think about, but I appreciate you, kind of expressing that. And we've talked about it, but it's not front of mind as far as the hardships and hurdles of running as an independent. But we talk about getting away from this duopoly, getting away from this two party system. But what does that mean? What does that really look like? Have you received any as far as financial resources? We know the benefits of running with the major parties that way. Are you receiving a lot of big donations, or how's that looking as far as your campaign?
I think when I say big, I am definitely not funded to the extent of other people. So a lot of it is when I say grassroots, it is grassroots. It's like, some people I've had a donation for $1. I've had $25. I've had $40. I've had
Okay.
$500. And so some people, and then a lot of people do in kind. Shout out to Fast Signs. They did my
Nice.
signs for me. They saw we had a very, very limited budget. They threw in a banner for me. They said, I said, where do I put this banner? They said, put on the side of your car. So we put,
Okay.
it's been a lot of people who really, really respect the independent movement. And plus a lot of people, I have a lot of notoriety for people who are already into politics because I've consistently lobbied the commissioner's office for the past 10 years really hard. First as a community advocate, really trying to fit into the process, and then just being very honest with them and saying, hey, this is not working. Why are we spending perpetually in the wrong direction? And it's pejoratively affecting people of color and people of poor socioeconomic status. So I think that people across the board, I've had some Republican donors, I've had some Democrat donors, I've had some people who are just like, can you make weed legal? I'm like, that's not my wheelhouse, but thank you for the $5, So, but it's definitely hasn't been, we've had some offers for donations that I'm a person of integrity. I'm a mom first. And I've had some people try to buy me, and I said, I'm sorry, that's not something I'm willing to do. And so I'm pretty sure they look like, you're broke, and but not my spirit. So we don't do that.
There you go. There you go.
We don't do those. We don't do those.
Right.
Hey, I just want to acknowledge a few people in the chat that are here giving you some good mornings. Quenisha D. Williams says good morning. Jaquala Yarbro. Also, Roscoe Wall says, let's go District 3, my sister. New names in the chat. Adrian Curry saying good luck. Yeah, that's what's up. RG in the chat is saying, Mr. Yarbrough, what kind of vibe and energy did you get from Dan Osborne? He's been in the news a lot lately as this independent Dan Osborne is running against Republican Deb Fisher. What kind of vibe did you get from him? Got a little delay there on the phone, I see. You still with us?
Hello.
You might have to restart.
Yeah, not sure what that might have froze on her end. Can you see us?
Yeah, I'm back now. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, must have froze. Yep.
Sorry, the last thing I heard was RG in the chat, and then it kind of chopped up.
He said, what energy did you get from Dan Osborne?
It was giving very. So I used to work at. So you gotta be a union person to understand Dan Osborne. So I used to work nights at the post office. People who work in like manufacturing and are union people. I was union. So I get it. Like union is because the idea of having a union is necessary because you tend to have these companies that start out great, but then they get bought out with these larger corporations who then begin to serve larger corporate interests at the expense of the person who has probably got that job fresh out of high school and going to work there until they retire. So if you've ever worked a union job, we are a different breed of people, right? We're not warm and chummy. I mean, you get me because I'm a mom, but union guys are not, if that's what you're looking for from Dan Osborne, no. So what I got from Dan Osborne was very union. Very for the working man or the working class, very much for holding the corporate structure accountable and pulling rights back in favor of working people. That's what the union is all about. And it's a whole world that unless you're union, you don't get it. I did get that. I was surprised that the whole room was black. I was very, very surprised that entire room there were like, you could count the number of non-black people in that room. For me, I think it was giving Trump supporter a little bit, if I'm honest. But I mean, for me, I'm like this. I don't really care who you vote for president. What matters is our local elections, because the electoral college chooses the president, so you
Mhm.
show up, popular vote, yeah, that's cool. You don't really touch the president every day, but it's your local politicians that you're going to need to rally around and really support on that ballot with your vote, because you know the national elections are the national elections. But Dan was pretty personable. He was there for maybe 20 minutes and whatnot. So uh it was cool. It was all love, and anything that I needed, like they offered canvassing, like, hey, you're independent, I was like, hey, Dan, I don't got your budget. He was like, you need some canvassing? Like, what do
Hmm.
it was giving cousin with a budget. So
Okay.
it was just like, anything that you need, they allowed me to speak on the platform, to talk to other independent people. There was so much support in the room. There was so much support for the independent movement, because essentially the independent movement is the balance in the two-party system. We are essentially the people. People shouldn't have to
Mhm.
join a party to be heard. And so that's
I'm
primarily what I got from my experience there.
I'm glad you brought that up, because what we've been talking about a lot lately is this two party system that everybody's tired of, and a lot of shows. I don't know how many shows are out here talking about a third party, talking about voting for independence, voting for people like Dr. Cornel West running for
Mhm.
president, Dr. Jill Stein running for Cornel West 2024. Right. So
Woo
we talking about fighting this two party situation. A lot of people, especially that are associated with the show, seem to be going in that direction, because we are also very vocal about being tired of this two party system as well. So what I'm seeing with independence is that there's independence means a bunch of different things. When I was in California,
Yeah.
independent means something else than it does here in Nebraska for me. Because a lot of times independent will be a really right leaning group of people. Sometimes they seem to be really left leaning group of people, instead of what the idea of being independent means. You're taking some from one and some from the other and making your own, and then there's a lot of leaning that happens there. So can you speak to that just a little bit, about, since you are an independent, since you are running into folks like Dan, who you just said gave you a little bit of Trump supporter vibe. What's the difference between independence? How does that lie in your mind?
So, very, very good point. I deal in the world of objectivity. What I've learned in politics is everything is subjective, and you have a lot of. I grew up in church, so you have a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. I say so.
Mm.
So I say, you have a lot of, because I've met a lot of Republicans who are genuinely democratic in their philosophy, but
Mm.
maybe they come from a family of Republicans, or maybe their friends or their social circle or their funders are Republicans. So
Mm.
they, that's what they support. And the same for Democrats. So for me, running as an independent meant that I am going to represent the cause of my people first. And I've heard this nationally. I've heard people say people over politics. Very rarely do you see people put people over politics.
Mhm.
I am a person, and I can say that from the number of people who said, why don't you just join a party? Why don't you just join a party? And I said, what has a single party done? And I've, when the different parties approached me, and they, because it was pretty clear that I was going to run early on, people said, well, these are the benefits that we can offer you. But it was all about benefiting me so that I could gain notoriety and represent the party. It was never about my people. And I'm only
Mhm.
running because my people are underrepresented. And it doesn't matter what trend, what wave happens, there's always something that happens to us. And then we're left behind to be the reactive as opposed to proactive people. So it's, for me, being independent means that I get to serve my people first. I don't have to make a phone call and say, hey, is it okay if I take a picture with so and so? Hey, is it okay if I'm at that event? Republicans have invited me to their events. And, some of them, they, threw some daggers at me, and they're like, oh, because there were people who were really just like, oh, she's a closet Democrat, and then Democrats, some of them invited me to some of their stuff. And, I've had some donors who were Democrats who said, I can really get behind like what you're trying to do. We just want to make sure that you don't have a Republican agenda. Listen, my agenda is the people, and the agenda of the Republican and Democratic body and our resources and our support should go first. And so because I didn't find that, that's why I ran as an independent. That's what that means to me. It's not, as my grandma would say, can't nobody tell me how to do what I'm doing. But but I encourage, I think that this independent thing is going to catch fire. I think in future elections, you're going to see more and more people start to run as independents, because you cannot get things done. You know, even when we see like those deadlocks in Congress and in the Senate, it's these super rich people who got elected because they're a part of a party, and they're not making decisions. They're only making decisions in the best interest of corporate interests. But when you start to have, especially like with inflation, with the housing market looking the way that it looks, with the job market looking the way it looks, I don't care about the projections or the forecast. I'm amongst the people. I know what's out here. I know what homelessness looks like out here. I know what the job market looks like. You have people who are well-to-do who cannot afford to live. Those are people who are staunch supporters of whatever party they're a part of, whatever organization they're a part of. But those people are leaning more towards independence because now they feel cheated. So, you know, I think as an independent, it really just gives me a pass to do what I want and go where I want to go in the best interest of our people.
I hear a lot of young people are leaning towards voting independent on that as well. So yeah, I totally agree. I think that's going to be more significant in the future. I don't really want to go too far down the Don Osborne rabbit hole there. I want to get back to you and your race, and we got one day here of early voting that can happen today. Tomorrow is vote day. Just want to remind people, in order to vote for you, you have to be written in. So you got to write your in. We're glad that you came on and made sure that you let us know it's District 3 where you're running as county commissioner. And I just want to, can you do a quick little overview again of how the seat of county commissioner what's the power there, and how does that affect everybody's everyday life, and then what are the areas that D3 covers, if you would?
Gotcha. So with so I'll start with the areas first. So North Omaha, from the river, the most western part is about 78th and Ida. We stop at State Street, so that's our southernmost border, and then we touch some parts of Dodge between 37th and 44th. We were redistricted in 2022. So there were people that were supporting me that thought they were still in my district who were not. So a lot of my campaign has been voter education. But essentially, if you are south of California to State Street, it's safe to say you're in my district. Now, the important thing is there's kind of a scoop neck. So once you go down around Saddle Creek, so if you take Southwest Radio Highway, the south side of that is not my district. I'm the north side of Northwest Radio Highway and Saddle Creek. So, you know, jump across the street, wave a sign, and tell your neighbor, write me in. So, and I've had people do that. I've had people say, I wrote you in, but I don't think you was in my district. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not in your district, but thank you. Go across the street, knock on your neighbor's door and tell them to write me in. And so let's see. So the powers of the commissioner. So the commissioner's job primarily is to write policy and do the budget. Those are the most important parts of being a commissioner. Those are the things that make or break us as a district, is what's happening with the policy and what is happening with the budget. So do not believe that money does not come into North Omaha. Senator McKinney is a beast when it comes to breaking down who gets this money, where it goes, and how useless it is. So, I don't necessarily need to repeat that, but I can if you want to go there. But the same people get money, and we expect to get, and it's not our district, particularly Black people, the power of the district has largely been lost because our division is exploited. Because we all have similar interests. We all want everyone to do well, especially our babies. One thing we all unite around is we want what's best for our babies. Where we differ at is who to partner with to get that done, because there's some people who just seem to have the keys to everything, but no matter what, the ball is not moving in the court of success for our youth and our families. How we would measure success is through, hey, how many kids got out of the system, went into the workforce, went to college, didn't, we got their mental health stable. How many families did we stabilize? Did we help them move towards success, that they haven't gone back into the system or back on public assistance or anything like that? That is how you measure the success of anybody, right? But their success is more performative. So it's like if you go to a meeting and you sign in and they say, oh, well, we saw 100 people. We talked to 300 people. We got summer jobs for 400 youth. Okay. Is that effective if that youth is not retained in that position? Have we talked to them about financial literacy? Are they getting benefits? I was told, by a mentor, I've been contributing to a 401k since I was 15 years old. I guarantee you, because I've taught in one of these programs that I'm talking about. And when I brought in the financial literacy piece, it was like, oh, that's too much. That's over their head. But I say that to say there are poverty pimps, and there are people pimping poverty, and they are getting money from our commissioner's office. And so if we want to see something different, the amount of money is crazy to me. Look at, for instance, Omaha Day versus Cinco de Mayo. Same budget. We don't have any roller coasters. Ain't no horses walking down the street unless the police on them. We don't have. I mean, this is the reality of it. And I know people are saying, because a lot of our culture is steeped in religion, right? So a lot of our culture. That's why politicians pander religious people, right? They go to churches. They make their rounds, and church people know. They say, oh, we never see these politicians until it's time for the elections, right? But you should genuinely want to improve the lives of the people that you serve. Like, that's why they vote you in. And so for us to see that for 20 years, we're not seeing that. All right. Spend a lot of money on really go into business infrastructure, small businesses, entrepreneurship. We do have these small things for kids to get into over the summertime, but how much money could we then use to further the pipeline and get them into trades and actually paid jobs and positions, right? These aren't things, these are conversations that people have, but I hate to say, let's come to the table and have the conversation, because people get paid. Literally, they write grants, they get federal money to sit down and have a conversation with you, and then they'll go build a jail. and that may not have even been what their conversation with you was about, but they'll say, yeah, we talked to the community. Yeah, you talked to the community, but not about, you didn't execute what the community asked you to do. And so I want to impress upon people that it's not your job to ask your representatives to do anything for you. It's their job to work for you. You're not asking them to do anything. So the commissioner primarily makes policy. I want to point your attention directly to Chris Rogers supported a bill that would put armed officers in every public school, armed, non-uniform, which means if a kid was having a mental crisis event, or they were in a mental crisis, if they were having a mental health event, if they were maybe having a fight, a behavioral health event, right? And they were fighting a kid, fighting someone else, and they're angry and they're trying to calm down. And someone who is unarmed, someone who's non-uniform, so not readily identifiable as law enforcement or an administrative individual, grabs them, and in the cases of our community, harasses them, maybe throws them around or whatnot. If that kid cannot identify that that's a police officer and they hit them back, that officer can discharge that firearm. There were other commissioners, and I will post that video if I haven't already. But when I made this case before the Douglas County Board, as they were looking at this policy and supported it, and I gave them this scenario. I said, we got to worry about if we know we have high incidences of behaviors at North Omaha North High School and Northwest High School, right? Where do you think the first kid is going to be shot in a school? Because it's not an if, it's a when. If you're telling a cop they can go into school and carry a firearm, why would you carry a firearm if you weren't ready to use it? And no disrespect to law enforcement, because God knows we need law enforcement of some kind. You have to be able to keep order, law and order, right? However, we see the disproportionate minority contact experienced in our community is unlike any other community in Nebraska. Okay, how many police shootings did we have of black people last month? What, 2? So, we know that if you put cops in our community, or you put cops in spaces with our people, we are more likely to end in death than other people in Nebraska. So it was appalling to me that 2 other non-black commissioners supported the bill only if there was an amendment to remove the piece of the legislation that would require cops to be non-uniformed officers that were armed to be in public schools. Guess who did not support the amendment because he had contributed to the bill? Our commissioner, the incumbent Chris Rogers, a black man who will get in front of the community and say, I have kids, I treat these kids like they're my own. No, if your son had a behavioral health problem and he was going to school and he had a history of lashing out and he needed to calm down and he had an IEP and a special team working with him, you would not put an officer who had a right to shoot your son in that school. You're not going to tell me that. So policy is very, very important. Where our dollars go is the largest part, in my opinion, the most important part, because it's the part that is about the poverty. Poverty is not something that just came about. Poverty is created. You can fund events that pull people out of poverty. You can build tourism and morale, through things like Omaha Day. And you can build programs that are direct pipelines into trades and success, right? You can fund things at a scale because there are some things that the commissioner has funded, right? Not in large increments, but it has been funded just so I can say, oh, I threw them some scraps. But when you look at a $5 million budget that was provided by Sherwood for programs and services, right? And you create an entirely different entity that's now going to require a $500,000 seed investment from the county. And even the county, I posted this video. The other commissioners are saying, if there's no programs and services provided by the bridge, but the money is for programs and services, then why are we providing this money to the bridge? Like, how did they get started? It's not a county ran thing. Why are we funding the bridge? It's something that they push through, and they're consistently putting money into, because it's their way of, in my opinion, colonizing the efforts of people like myself and other community organizers and other people who run programs and services that need to be funded to increase our capacity to serve more families. It's their way of saying, okay, well, we partner with this. They're basically attaching themselves to us and then establishing their importance and saying, hey, there is a need for us because there was nobody pulling these programs together before us. No, we had our own internal method of referring families to services. We don't need you guys to come in as form a new $1 million corporation to start telling us what we need to do in our communities. And so you have policy, public policy making. You have the budget, right? It's very important where the budget goes, but they also oversee like people who have a problem with Don Klein. You need to be listening very clearly, okay? In the event that you recall the county attorney, it's the county commissioners who choose the next one. Okay, so you have to have a county commissioner that is on board and in tune with what is going on in the community, and not just in tune with the community, but in agreement with how the community think it needs to be governed from that office. It also oversees the county sheriff. So we've seen a lot from Aaron Hansen these days. So the county sheriff is accountable to the county commissioner, the jail board, the jail commissioner. So the county jail has a commissioner, Mike Myers. I was able to lobby Mike Myers to make sure that people got in-person visits after COVID, because we're still misusing that space and not allowing families to come in. So families in our community, we made up 44% of the county jail population because at the time, we still were not receiving pretrial release at the rate of white inmates or non-inmates of inmates that were not of color. And so 44% of the people who had long-term stays in the county jail were Black people. Well, if those people had kids or families or a grandmother, whatnot, they would have to pay to have a virtual visit. right? So that means that you have to have Wi-Fi and you have to have some type of some type of device with wireless capability. You had to have some type of credit card or whatnot. What if you only have cash? You can't pay for a virtual visit with cash. And so consistently putting this before the county board, I got nowhere. But once I had to get before the media and I said, hey, you know, this is something that's disproportionately impacted my community. There are people in jail who are suffering mental health issues and crises because they haven't been able to talk to anybody during COVID and after. And so literally I got an email at about 9:40 something at night from the jail commissioner saying, effective immediately, these visits will be restored. There are things like that that our county commissioner is just not in tune with or did not see as a priority. So you have the jail commissioner, so the county jails, any mental health center or facility or whatnot, that's county. County board, the county attorney, public defender's office. So that's something to look at because when you look at the budget, the prosecutor's office usually receives more of a budget than the public defender's office. The public defender's office usually receives less resources. That budget comes from the county commissioner's office. So we see our people who are more likely to have to use a public defender. Not necessarily just our people, but people of poor socioeconomic stature who tend to live in North Omaha. We are pejoratively affected the most by the lack of resources in the public defender's office. That is a county commissioner issue. The county commissioner can say, hey, we're going to allocate, $10,000 more. Hey, we're going to allocate more resources for additional public defenders because oftentimes there's not enough public defenders. There's so many cases and the prosecutors make the case. So there's more prosecutors, they have more resources, they have more time. Your public defender is probably just meeting you right when you go in court. And they're saying, okay, well, listen, this is what I'm going to ask you. They're going to say this, don't say anything. Okay, just take this plea. They don't know that you have a family. They don't know that you didn't do it. They don't want to hear that you didn't do it. They're not there to fight your case, And so that is something that, the presumption of innocence, I like to say there's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty unless you live in District 3. Because that's just not the reality. If you look at the data, it shows like where are these people that are going to jail? They can commit similar crimes in other districts, but the outcomes look different. The county commissioner can change that. So those are just a few of, I'm sorry. Let me not skip over the Juvenile Justice Center. Okay. This new baby jail that we built that is still empty, that now we're carrying, two facilities. One is empty. And at a local debate the other day, Chris Rogers said, it's going to open. And I'm looking like, why? Like, what is the why behind wanting to open this new facility and nothing is wrong with the youth center for a fraction of what we spent on that? The taxpayers, you and I, for the next 30 years, we're paying that bill. We could have fixed the youth center that didn't have working utilities last winter. We built a new Cadillac baby jail that's empty, but we neglected to take care of the youth center. How does that happen? Right? So it happens on Chris Rogers' watch is how it happens, because guess what? 5.4% of the kids sitting in that facility are 5.4% of the kids in Douglas County are Black, and they live in District 3. 90% of the kids incarcerated in DCYC are Black. So is this a Chris Rogers issue? Absolutely. The most of the issue is communicating it to people in a way that they understand, because most people, for one, have no idea what the commissioner does. They have no idea who Chris Rogers is. And so that really works for him to be kind of in this closet of, of the commissioner. Not to say that he is closeted. I wasn't going there.
No,
Diddy.
No Diddy. People run off with a soundbite.
Man. We're gonna have to get going here. We're running up on the 9 o'clock hour, which is when we get out of here. But we wanted to let you go because we really needed to understand what the county commissioner does. I really appreciate all the information that you gave for that. If you're in District 3, and she gave us the territory of that North Omaha from the window to the wall, I guess.
Right, it is.
Except for a scoop. And so definitely go check out the map and make sure that you're in D3. And then if you want to vote for her tomorrow or today or tomorrow, then write in. She needs to be written in County Commissioner District 3. And I really appreciate you breaking down exactly what, some of the things that the County Commissioner has control on. So appreciate it very much.
Not even all of it.
We're gonna have to let you get going though. So we appreciate you coming on, and if you win, then or if you don't win, we'll definitely have you back because you're doing a lot for the community, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Good
You
luck.
guys have a
Peace and
great
love.
day.
Oh, she jumped off. Okay. All right. All right.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she dropped a lot on us, but just hearing about all the things that seat impacts is kind of a question of why we don't hear more from the commissioners. Like they have a lot to say, a lot of power, a lot of impact. Why don't you hear more?
That's right. And just to let you, the audience, know, we reached out to County Commissioner Chris Rogers a few times. I actually just got a email from him. He's definitely, this is a hard time for him to. This is a tough time frame for him to come in. He's usually preparing for meetings and stuff like that around 8:30, but he did show interest in wanting to come on, and he says that if he does win, then he'll be happy to come on and talk a little bit more with us. So we'll keep on reaching out to him and try to get him on as well. I was trying to get him on before the election, just to be
Hmm.
fair and have him be able to come in and talk.
Man,
But the time frame just didn't work out like that, and I understand. Like I said, I personally been up for the last 3 days, and
man,
and it's just going to be like that until after this election. So,
till it's
uh,
over.
so it's over. It's already over now. It's in 1 minute
Man,
past the 9 o'clock hour. I just want to remind people that what's going on here with what's happening right now as far as your canvassing stuff is concerned. We've been working with Shamika Simpson. She's been heading some of this stuff up, rides to the polls, and organizing a lot. As a matter of fact, she sent this update this morning. Says we're hiring for canvassers, sign holders to be a part of the Homeland Heroes team for $300 per day. Excuse me, bring two people with you. Meet at 1375 Millard Avenue, Suite 100. Arrive at 9:30. So we get off the air real quick. You can go jump over there. Bring
man,
your ID, your social security, your direct deposit information to expedite the hiring process. Dress for the weather. It is supposed to be a little rainy out today. And download the minivan and group me apps before arrival. The hours start today at 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and tomorrow 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And of course, tomorrow is vote day. You must work both days to receive payment, but that's $300 per day that you'll get paid tomorrow to help canvas. If you want more information, text her at 402 301 3944. We'll drop this note in Friends of First Sky Omaha so you can reference it again as well.
hey,
But shout out to her and shout out to the work that she's doing for Ride to the Polls that's
yeah,
going on.
man,
Go to our page, First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page. You'll see some videos there promoting some of these things in the different counties that Shamika has been working in, and other people who have been a part of this program as well. So shout out to ACLU. Malcolm X Memorial Foundation is where the Douglas County Ride to the Polls happening. Again, this is the last day to vote early, and then tomorrow you have to go to your respective voter places to get it done. And there'll be some canvassers out there all day today, all day tomorrow. Party at the polls style party, not party at the
man,
polls, but party at some of these locations around in order to get a ride to the polls. So it's kind of party at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation for us here in Omaha and Douglas County. And there'll be a DJ, some food, and so on. And then the bus leaves at 10 o'clock. You can go get your early vote on today, or go to your official spots tomorrow to get it done. But this is it. Next time we see you,
man.
we might
It'll
we
be
might
over.
have an answer or two. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll definitely see. Yeah. Other than that, buddy, you got some words for the people?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to our guest today. Again, Senator Terrell McKinney, giving us some information, and also, maybe future commissioner, Sister Jaquala Yarbro, for speaking with us as well. Definitely, yeah. Regardless of who win, I will say I'm walking away from today's show, saying like we definitely need to hear more from our county commissioners. Like she just, man, went in and laid down a list of all the, and I'm sure that's not even all of it as far as the areas of our lives that these county commissioners have an impact and have say on, and we don't hear enough from them. So again, thank you for that, Sister Yarbrough, for dropping that on us, and of course, thank you all of you, the listeners, ghost listeners, monitoring spirits is what we're calling them, chat chimers, of course, first and last time listeners. We appreciate you, we love you, we thank you, and yeah, again, next episode it'll be over as far as the whole voting situation, but I'm sure we'll have more conversation to be had about that and more. So again, we appreciate you, love you, we thank you. Catch the same time, same place, Monday and Wednesday, and of course, look out for the weekly wrap on Fridays. In the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yo.
take it away, man.
Man, like was said earlier in the chat, just take care of yourselves. We're not going to get any hard answers on Wednesday. It's going to be the rest of the week. Might even be 2 weeks before we get hard answers
Man,
on any of the winners on these races. Things need to be counted, and people have been coming out in record numbers, and it's not over. Today is going to be another record day, and tomorrow is going to be a record vote day. I'm quite sure as well. So yeah, and as far as is the advertising stuff is concerned, by the time we see you again Wednesday, we'll have slowed all the way down finally.
Man, thank you.
Yeah, I know Tony Vargas so well now just from ads. I'm like, man, know this whole family look like and everything. So it's hey, we it's so funny what has been said about that. Like, people feel like he's a celebrity. He's on TV so much. Kids go up and try to get autographs and all kinds of stuff. It's a trip. So, I'm looking forward to the political ads, and a lot of the people that I'm talking to, a lot of the people that are on these ads are also tired of their own ads. Like, it's
Man,
getting to that point where they are saying, yeah, it's overkill, man. So we hopefully will be able to be done with that part of it by Wednesday and can start going into that. I know that you was gonna have to jump in there and say something about Vargas before you got out of here, brother. Right? I think that what the next thing I'm gonna do is get a one-on-one a hoop session together between you and Vargas, and we'll see what's happening. We'll see what's happening. He said, yeah, hooping it up.
hoop it up.
Yeah, man. Anyway, yeah, we appreciate everybody that has been bearing with us through that. Please continue to put articles and things in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Also, you can put your own stories in Friends of First Sky Omaha about your experience at the polls and what it is that you're doing as well. Just like you comment here on the comments, you can comment there on Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook. Like Buddy said, definitely check out the weekly wrap. That's also a place that you can get back to as well, and not just read it, but also comment and engage conversation there too. That's what it is. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and hit that link. Get your email address in there. Really appreciate everybody who has done that so far. And also, I really appreciate everybody who has become a member and a sponsor of the channel too. We got some new members and sponsors that have come in at the $10 level, some at the $25 level, $50 level as well. Really appreciate everybody that does that. That's our best way of trying to support what's going on here. And don't forget, as far as support is concerned too, we got to be doing this more, because that's a good way to support us. And it's also a good way to support some of the causes that we're going after as well too, like the Fight the Towers cause right now.
Fight the towers.
Underwood Tennis Group, man. We're trying to get them salute to keep on fighting to get better conditions in OHA towers and so on and so forth. So definitely hit us up there. Check out our new site, and it's firstskyOmaha.com, and this will be /shop. I'll go ahead and put that in the link as well, so you can go there and get your t-shirts going on, and be patient with me. I'm one that's shipping them out right this minute, so be patient with me.
Man,
So you'll get them.
they coming though. Yeah,
They coming, man. Shout out to the artist Sky Ree, who helped us with that one design, the first Sky shirt, the first Sky a design shirt, collab shirt. So we really appreciate everybody who's been helping us do that, and also shout out to Ashley Spivey, the Ashley Spivey campaign, that donated some money to the Underwood Tenants Group as well. So we'll get that over to them, and check in with Sonny Lee pretty soon as well. Also, stay tuned for future shows, man. Now that we don't have to be really kind of bombarding you with the candidates every single time, we'll still keep on talking with our local politicians, but there's some other people that we want to talk to as well. Dominique Ron over there at Heart Ministries is going to be on in a couple weeks, so we got some good guests coming up too to finish out the rest of the season, which will be over by December 15th.
Man,
Season 1B is coming to a close soon, so stay tuned for all the rest of the shows, man. And do us a favor, share the show and like and subscribe over there on YouTube if you will. Really appreciate it. Pops in the chat said, love the show. Can't wait for Wednesday show. Good luck, everyone. Pops,
yeah.
that was the track. That was my track. If you thought that was Buddy's track, that was my track. I think you were commenting on last time. I'll send that to you, because I'm back working on some stuff. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I was looking at that like, did I miss something?
Yeah, no, I snuck a little track in there I've been working on, so that's what's up.
Yeah, I heard you on the
RG
keys, little funk.
There you go. RG said, hey, man, if I get this job I just applied for, then I can afford to be a sponsor for y'all. Hey.
Okay. Well,
appreciate
good luck.
that, RG. Yeah, good luck on that job for sure, man. Maybe go get you a little coin here doing your civic side hustle over here with Shamika, man. Make a couple bucks this next couple of days as well. Just want to leave that up there. And I'll put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha too, man. It's happening now. You can start at 10 o'clock today.
Right now.
You can be done tomorrow by 7 o'clock and get a cool $600 from your efforts, and also have done some canvassing for this very important election that's happening. Hit Shamika up at 402-301-3944 for more details. But again, it's happening now. So I
got 20 minutes.
Highly encourage you to get going on it. Get going on it for sure.
Yeah.
Right. With that said, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here so you can go do that.
Yeah.
Between time, we'll catch you on Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red